Hello and welcome to the visualization. So since April 25 last year, 2024, I've been unhoused. Thanks to I would say, I don't want to blame my mother, but thanks to my mother, she parted ways with me and she knew the momentum I had on YouTube. She knew my skills. She knew how much I developed over the past 7-8 years since 2017. She knew everything that I knew. I would relay it to her. And specifically the fact that there's 5 different ways to make money through YouTube. There's 5 different ways to make money through YouTube. So one of those, which I discovered like 5 years ago, is the fans paying you $5 a month. If you have 5,000 people paying you $5 a month, that equals $25,000 a month, $300,000 a year. And that's only 5,000 people out of, let's say, 100,000 subscribers. Hypothetically, if I had 50,000 or 100,000 subscribers, and 5% of them, which is 5,000 out of 100,000, 5%, which is 5,000 out of, let's say, 100,000 subscribers, worst case scenario, almost guaranteed that 5,000 people out of 100,000 would pay me $5 a month through YouTube's join button. Subscribe. Once I become a partner of YouTube, then people can select the join button and pay me about $5 a month. I think I can adjust that. And so even though she knew my potential, even though she knew I had good momentum, thousands of subscribers, more subscribers than Bates College, more subscribers than Sun Journal, more subscribers than St. Mary's Hospital, more subscribers than CMMC, Central Maine Medical Center Hospital, where I was born. And for some reason, my inner family and her think that I'm just using her for, I'm just using her. And it's like, that's not the case. I was relying on food stamps and I wasn't I was relying on EBT, SNAP, food stamp benefits while also taking care of my red-nosed pit bull. And the most I ever did as far as overusing resources was I would play the game, I would live stream the game very consistently. So the most I ever did was make her pay a little bit extra on the electricity bill, but she was willing to, and I'm sorry to get into my personal life, but I am the underdog. And, what was I going to say? I forget what I was going to say, but yeah. I mean, the most, she upgraded the internet. She got the best internet package through Spectrum. And, and I, so that was her choice. Now, her lack of communication led to us being evicted once again. We've been evicted 2-3 times total or so. And it's like, after I became unhoused, April 25, 2024 last year, it was kind of like, I'm staying in touch with her and stuff. And sometimes she's helping me with money, giving me money, which is great. But, it's what was my point? There's so much noise going on over here at Bates College. It's hard to concentrate. But, after the aftermath, it was like, now I got to think. Hold on. Oh, she was saying like, oh, you should have known to get a part-time job. But it's like, while we were at that residence, 7 Russell Street, Lot 12, for almost 8 years with no maintenance provided, I applied for disability, SSI, Social Security income 2 different times. I was declined or denied. I appealed those decisions. Both appeals were declined and denied. And of course, during those 1 or 2 years of me applying twice, Jack and I were in desperate need of resources. Jack and I, my red-nosed pit bull, were in desperate, we needed income. And especially because YouTube wasn't trying to partner with me, or they're still not trying to partner with me. And Microsoft Xbox permanently suspended me 3-4 times. when realistically they should be a lot more fair about their policy. America has the most swear words. The American version of the English language has the most swear words. They don't factor in virtual provocation when they suspend people for their speech, or cyber stalking, which is a federal crime. When people are constantly virtually provoking me, trying to stalk me collectively as a group with their friends, and always trying to kill me in game and spawn trap me and not let me play Grand Theft Auto 5 online, that should be factored into me, let's say, cussing at them or texting them and saying some foul things. But it's not. And these are most of the games that I'm playing are warfare-driven games. I play shooter games for the most part. So, of course, just like in real life, when you're at war, you're not always friendly and happy and social. You're very competitive. And with Grand Theft Auto 5 Online, 30-player free mode sessions, it can get very, very terroristic, I don't even believe in the word terroristic, really, because war is terror. But, in real life, people aren't friendly and happy and social and always on good, on good behavior. It's a rageful thing when you're going to war, even if it's virtually. Grand Theft Auto 5 Online is a warfare simulator. A warfare simulator, if you really break it down. So, Microsoft Xbox, a trillionaire corporation, is very inconsiderate about these facts. I have 3 or 4 solid points. The 4th point would be, a lot of times when I was suspended, eventually leading up to a permanent suspension, I would be suspended for speech, usually text messages calling people scrubs, garbage, or trash, but usually it would be they would be provoking me, and they would regularly provoke me, remembering my gamer tag or my new gamer tag, which was similar to my old gamer tag, IN8K, INN8K, IV8K, and now I'm Cyclops Colt. So the people that, the online players and the Xbox enforcement can see the resemblances of my gamer tags, and therefore they could hold grudges. Of course, the in-game players, the online players, when they stalked me before, they knew me through my new gamer tags, and they kept stalking me along with their friends. And so, but also Xbox enforcement, Xbox safety, they can see the resemblances of my old gamer tag to my new gamer tags, and therefore they could have held a grudge unprofessionally. And, there's many more things I could say about Microsoft Xbox and how they shorted me, how they targeted me, prevented me from creating, let's say, my idea, let's become trillionaires and rank 8,000, making a looking for group post regularly to try to network with fellow Grand Theft Auto Online players. And, just because modding was a thing, and money dropping was a thing, and still is, and the general public's perception of Grand Theft Auto Online, when somebody says something big like, let's become trillionaires and rank 8,000, just because money dropping is happening, or has happened, and is happening on PC still, doesn't mean that I am not allowed to aim high and say, let's become, which means grow to be, let's become trillionaires and rank 8,000. Specifically, when the game is based around money, rank, 8,000 total ranks, and crews. And if you choose to, warfare. You don't have to engage in warfare. You can generally avoid warfare if you want to. So technically, the game is based around money, rank, 8,000 ranks, and crews, building up a crew or joining a crew, or up to 5 crews. So Rockstar Games, their social club, the crew system doesn't even work. The crew system is broken because your social club account on socialclub.rockstargames.com your account can hide or basically make your gamer tag or PlayStation profile not visible. Therefore, if you're trying to manage a crew, it would be impossible because the social club accounts don't have to reveal their gamer tag, their Xbox gamer tag, or their PlayStation profile. So, so the crew system in Grand Theft Auto 5 Online has been broken ever since the game came out in 2013, going on 12 years now, and they haven't fixed it. But they keep releasing free updates and never patching glitches, invincibility glitch, modifying, duplicating vehicles, doing custom modifications to vehicles, like putting F1 wheels on regular cars, stuff like that. It was never patched up and prevented. But Rockstar Games' net worth is like $25 billion. Microsoft Xbox's net worth is like $3 trillion. So between both of those major companies and, Take-Two Interactive above Rockstar Games, who also owns 2K, the ones that make the 2K basketball games, somehow they can't pull in enough money to prevent cheating. And of course, with me having to deal with so many cheaters, it makes me a little bit more rageful. Not only do I have to deal with cyber stalking, which is a federal crime, and possibly corruption within Microsoft Xbox, their Xbox enforcement team, but I also have to sit there and be enraged by people cheating. So, I try to be, as thorough as I can as a human being, as a public figure, and I would say that I do 100 good deeds to one bad deed. Sometimes I'll cuss at someone, or sometimes I'll get very competitive in a free mode session or whatnot, and I'll start raging, and I'll use cuss words and profanity, and I don't really mean to, but I'm so competitive, and these people are cheating, they're cyber stalking, they're including their friends to cyber stalk me. So, it's a lot to bear. And, it seems like my inner family, my government wants me dead, as I've been sound tortured by vehicles and other ways for the past 32 months since October 2022 when my red-nosed pit bull Jack died. 32 months of sound torture, almost 3 years now. And I'm getting to the point where I'm going to call Supreme Court and or seek asylum out of the country. So that's where I'm at. And if this government doesn't like the fact that I'm representing Qaeda, well, you should have stopped sound torturing me, and I wouldn't have represented that and created it as a secondary brand. So if this country wants to deport me from America for representing Qaeda and promoting Qaeda, which is similar to Al-Qaeda, then be my guest. I don't want to be here anyways. There's too much corruption and fraudulence. So that's about all I have to say. So, hey, Mom, hey, Lisa, I'm not exactly helpless. I'm not hurting, and I'm still thriving. I'm live streaming every day like I used to, and I'm not exactly putting up the same numbers as I used to. And, Google, YouTube, Microsoft Xbox, Rockstar Games, and my inner family, and my families as a whole, both sides of my family. I don't know what to say, but, I don't know what to say or how to say it anymore, because it's I'm trying not to bunch everyone into one wagon, but, you're missing out on a unique guy. That's all I'll say, and as far as comparing myself to my siblings, my sister and my brother, they're not taking over the internet, and they're not pioneering the internet like I am. I would say I have more subscribers on YouTube than my entire inner family combined. Or if they wanted to, intertwine other social media sites, I think my sister has maybe 1,000, a little over 1,000 followers on Facebook. That's great and all, but I find YouTube to be superior to Facebook and pretty much every other platform. Although I don't agree with how they, let's say, require watch hours. I need 3,000 hours watched in the past year, and I've been trying to do this for 4 years, or for the past 8 years. You need 3,000 hours watched, and you need 1,000 subscribers. Okay, so I have over 1,000 subscribers. I'm not getting the watch hours because I'm not jumping on the bandwagon of like No Jumper or DJ Vlad, and I'm not promoting and glorifying criminality and gangbanging and domestic terrorism or domestic warfare. Basically, ghetto street stuff. I'm not jumping on those bandwagons, so I'm not getting a whole bunch of views like everyone else. And generally, I could react to, video game trailers. I could react to, like, for instance, the new Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer, the second one. I could have reacted to that, but I don't really I'm living in a tent right now. I ended up selling my 65-inch TV. Well, I mean, because it only went up to like 60 gigahertz for the frame rate or whatever. And I didn't realize that at the time when I bought it. So when I got my Xbox Series X and the TV, I was, my mom bought me the Xbox Series X with all change, world record, and then I got a 65-inch, I think shortly afterwards, something like that, or vice versa. I don't know, I might have got the TV first or the Xbox, I think the TV first, but speaking of world records though, it's like, going back to like the YouTube partnership, like, yeah, I don't have the 3,000 hours watched in the past year because I'm not jumping on the bandwagon of all the popular things. But think about the amount of world records that I've set. If you go to my playlist section, go to the world records playlist, you can see so much uniqueness, so much consistency, world record setting, breaking performances. And YouTube sees right through that. I'm sitting here exposing the fact that God is non-existent since 2019. I'm vegan since 2020. I'm a gamer. I'm a stoner cannabis supporter. And I feel like me being a gamer, cannabis supporter, non-religious, vegan, and pro-anti-homelessness, pro-universal basic income, anti-corruption, anti-fraudulence, puts several targets on my back. I've proved that addiction is fiction, karma is non-existent, God is non-existent, human rights and animal rights are non-existent because any government can draft you into a war at any time, and 150 billion plus animals are slaughtered worldwide annually for food, fashion, and profit. And as far as independent creators, we don't really get favored in this society. Filming and reacting to things and live streaming, playing video games, filming video game clips. It's not being respected and accepted, and that's a problem. So, going back to me having more subscribers than Bates College in Lewiston, Maine, CMMC, Central Maine Medical Center, St. Mary's, another hospital, and Sun Journal, our main news outlet in Lewiston, Maine. If these four entities are getting federal and state funding and grants and support, protection, why am I being forced at 33 years old to repair my credit, work, let's say 5 days a week full time, even though I'm disabled, just to repair my credit, and then eventually, have a job for a certain, 2-3 years or so then I can apply for a small business loan that I will have to pay back eventually, which is fine because I can make hella money through YouTube. So, why is it that I have to sit here and struggle while all of these four major entities are just, they have less subscribers than me on YouTube and they get support from the government. Now, me, I get attacked by the government. I get sound tortured by the government. My inner family works with the government to sabotage my days and interfere with my craft. So, there's one more thing that came to mind, but I don't know. I can't manage repairing my credit and working for another 5 years just to then apply for a small business loan to possibly be denied or be limited. So, I'll be 38 years old by the time I can maybe get a small business loan. And that's not fair to me when all of these four entities that I just mentioned can pretty much freely do whatever they want with grants, loans, federal, state funding, etc. Like hospitals are accepted and respected by default. And Sun Journal, the news outlet, what the hell are they promoting? Or Bates College. All four of these entities combined, they're not combating homelessness, and they're not ending homelessness in this locality in Lewiston, Maine and Auburn, Maine. So, but me, with my hashtag camping for clout shooter game idea, basically hashtag camping for clout, I play a shooter game and you don't know what game it is because the thumbnail of the video is always orange, a group of orange monarch butterflies. So you don't know what game I'm playing through the thumbnail. And in the title, I would always do hashtag camping for clout. And eventually I decided to add hashtags based around anti-homelessness and hashtags based around pro-universal basic income. So indirectly, directly, whatever, however you say it, I'm sitting here combating homelessness and trying to assist Andrew Yang, the presidential candidate from like 6 years ago or whenever it was, with the idea of implementing a universal basic income. And I'm wrong for that? I'm pretty sure we need a universal basic income in order to end homelessness. And as far as automation and robotics, most of us, all of us aren't going to have to work 1,000 years from now if the Earth still is surviving, if the Earth survives any type of warfare or another world war. We don't want World War III. We want virtual reality, cyber, esports, Olympics, a division within the Olympics for esports, cyber, virtual reality. And if countries want to go to war, we can do it virtually through video games. Grand Theft Auto 6, Rainbow Six Siege, Battlefield 2042, Call of Duty. I'm not a big fan of Call of Duty. It takes like 20 shots to kill someone in that game nowadays, so that's unrealistic. Specifically Warzone, but not even just Warzone. So, hashtag homelessness, hashtag end homelessness, hashtag UBI, hashtag pro-UBI, hashtag universal basic income. That's legitimate. And especially to end homelessness. But I don't know if I clarified, but let's say 300 years from now, not even 1,000, like 300 years from now, as long as world peace is upkept, nobody will have to work. Robotics, automation, and AI will ensure that none of us will ever have to work in about 300 years. So a lot of us shouldn't even have to work. And for the most part, everything is already built up and well established enough as it is. We don't really have to do much once we rapidly evolve automation and robotics and AI. So why not do that now along with world peace, so then people can just socially network through the World Wide Web, send and receive videos with translated closed captions. Let's say a person from China wants to watch my video, they'll see captions on it and translations. So that's not too far-fetched. We have translation systems via text, like Google Translate, Microsoft Translate. We have little devices that you can talk into, or you can talk on your phone on an app, probably Google Translate, as well. And you can not only text translate, but you can also vocally translate. And clearly we can figure it out universally and fully. Oh, and going back to like Microsoft Xbox, if they're so pure and they're so, based around their policy and no trash talk, well, then why aren't they banning all swear words from text messages? Like, I know it's kind of hard to do because people can just work around it, put in spaces or put in different symbols and stuff like that. But if you blocked every cuss word in existence, just like I do for the most part on my YouTube channel, you can go into your settings, go to community, and then block certain phrases or certain words. So why is it that Microsoft Xbox, a trillionaire corporation, and maybe even Google YouTube, because, I mean, they do filter comments pretty well, but Microsoft Xbox specifically, why is it that they have a $1 trillion net worth, like a $3 trillion net worth, but they can't block all cuss words? And above them, the government, the American government, they don't force an implementation of banning, blocking all cuss words universally through all languages. And it's not just on the shoulders of the American government, but it's also on the shoulders of every country involved with Microsoft Xbox and every country that allows the sales of Xboxes. So that about wraps it up and sums it up. I mean, I've been consistently grinding for the past 7, almost 8 years, or about 8 years now. And all of a sudden, last year, April 25, 2024, my mom just parts ways with me and just kind of screws me over. And she says, like, oh, you should have known to get a part-time job. Well, I'm disabled, and I'm trying to stay home to spend more time with my red-nosed pit bull, who I was kind of neglecting while I had to work 2-3 jobs to try to pay off 5 credit cards. And I'm still in debt with those credit cards. I'm about $4,000 or $5,000 in debt still, something like that. So in total, I was in debt. About $7,000. So, so I don't know what to say. I was 18, 19 years old, and I got 5 credit cards. I think 3 of them at specific stores: Best Buy, JCPenney, Kay's Jewelers, and then Walmart. And then the 5th one was a Discover card. I think it was a Discover It card. So, my inner family acts like we don't share struggles or something. Specifically, my mom. She's just been nagging about her life and her past for the past 18 years since I was about 14, 15 years old. And she's very bashful, even though she knows my potential, even though she sees the momentum, she sees what I've built up for, let's say, plans, my nightly dice roll event for 2 to 3 hours, which randomizes a game choice. Very unique. I have about 7, 8, or 9 weekly events that I could do, and upkeep a consistent upload rate. And because the past 8 years I reached 3,500 subscribers, 10,000 uploads, and 1.4 million views total across the whole channel. Now, what I'm predicting is that I can average about 1,800 to 2,000 videos every year, which is 10,000 videos every 5 years. So this past 8 years, I've learned a lot. And, and furthermore, not only 1,800 or 2,000 videos on average per year, which is, 10,000 videos every 5 years, but in my lifetime, if I live to about 90 or 95 years old, I will reach 130,000 uploads, I think it is. I'll reach about 130,000 uploads in my lifetime. I don't see myself living all the way to 90, 95, but with that said, I will at least reach 80,000 to 100,000 uploads in my lifetime. Now, back to my uniqueness and my world records. I reached 3,500 subscribers, 10,000 uploads, and 1.4 million views within 8 years, within 7, almost 8 years. But the more unique statistic would be the 10,000 uploads. Of course, granted, most of those uploads, or a lot of those uploads, were YouTube Shorts. Sometimes at the beginning of YouTube Shorts, I was just kind of uploading every kill I would get in Halo or any game that I was playing. So it was kind of like spamming in a way a little bit, but not necessarily. It's still something that some people like to watch. But eventually I started to trim down the clips to about 3 seconds each, maybe 5 seconds each, and I would start, combining up to about 20 clips per YouTube short. So I forget my point. So with me being so unique and consistent, you'd think that the 3,000 hours watched in the past year that I need for the second part to become eligible as a YouTube partner, you'd think that all my world records and uniqueness and all of the exposing of non-factual things like addiction, karma, the idea and portrayal of a non-existent God, you'd think that all of this that I'm doing, representing veganism, doing vegan food reviews, you'd think that all of this would add up and somehow they would be like, wow, we like this guy. Let's forget about the 3,000 hours watched that he needs, and let's take this guy under our wing and let's start paying him. Let's partner with him. But no, it's not like that. So this world is flooded with discrimination and favoritism. And I feel like I've been blacklisted, I've been blackballed, I've been outcasted wrongfully, but I'm still thriving, living in a tent, bro. And I don't really want to live in a tent during the winter time, but if I have to, I will. So like I was telling my mom, because sometimes she would be like, oh, I'll up and leave and I'll go live with my sister. I'll go live with my friend Joe. And it's like, I would tell her, like, I don't, like, I'm kind of competitive. I don't mean to be so competitive, but I'm like, I can go live at the library. I can go keep doing my YouTube down at the library, at the Lewiston Public Library. I can still upkeep my consistency and uniqueness and just overall craft, even while being unhoused and having to resort to going to the library to upload videos and stuff like that. I mean, I don't think the library has fast enough internet for my consistency, so I'm over here at Bates College at their library using their Wi-Fi. And, I'm charging up my bike, I'm charging up my speaker, I'm charging up my power bank, I'm charging up my iPod Touch 7. I'm listening to, music through my iPod. So, I'm charging up my bike, my speaker. I guess I shouldn't have done this, but I took their extension cord. This extension cord was downstairs or whatever, and it's plugged in over here. There's 3 outlets over here, by the way, for anybody who's in Lewiston, Auburn. There's 3 outlet spots here. There's one right here where I'm at. There's one where that extension cable is behind that brick wall there, and then all the way to that last brick wall with the library. Whatever. There's 2 over there, 2 right here, and then 2 right here. So it's like I said, Mom, Lisa, just because you have some superiority over me and you have me housed and you're somewhat taking care of me doesn't mean that I can't survive on my own, even in the woods, in a tent, at libraries, at colleges. And, I guess that reminds me, it seems like just because I'm not joining the military, I'm not going to college, I don't have a physical business, what is it, college, military, there's only like 4 or 5 major things as far as like living in America. Like you can join the military, go to college, be disabled, open a physical business or a franchise, or like be a politician or whatever. So I'm an activist out of coincidence. I engage in activism out of coincidence, just because I'm anti-corruption, anti-fraudulence, I'm pure, I'm logical, I'm for goodness for the most part. You know, so what was my point? Those people are so noisy over there, I can't concentrate. So, so I'm an independent activist slash politician, and I feel like I'm being shunned because I'm not an actual politician and joining a certain party. I would say that I'm independent, or I wouldn't even say that I'm independent because I don't want nothing to do with politics for the most part. But you know, with me being an independent journalist, activist, politician, and being an activist for many different causes, specifically gaming. You know, I've already mentioned them during the stream, but gaming, cannabis, non-religiousness, veganism, anti-corruption, anti-fraudulence, anti-homelessness, pro-universal basic income. I have about 8 different reasons why this government hates me. And I'm a white male with long blonde hair. I've been growing my hair for 8 years now. So, you know, meanwhile, you got No Jumper, DJ Vlad on YouTube promoting and glorifying criminality, gangbanging, and domestic terrorism / warfare. And they're getting, you know, they're getting YouTube partnerships. All these rappers, you know, their music videos, they're promoting and glorifying criminality, gangbanging, and domestic terrorism / warfare. And they get the partnerships, they get all the promotion, they get all the funding, they get all the support. But me, an independent gamer, stoner, non-religious vegan, activist out of coincidence for many causes, I get nothing. And not only do I get nothing, but in reverse, I get attacked, I get shunned, I get outcasted, I get blacklisted, blackballed. And that's not fair. So that's about all I have to say. Now, I'm going to go ahead and share this live stream to my mom, Lisa, and maybe she can, like, open her mind a little bit. I don't know. But at this point, I have income. I have a job as well. So I have 2 different forms of income. And they're only giving me, they're shorting me on certain income. And, you know, as in governmental assistance or whatever it is, you know, but I'm still trying. I'm working with my case manager, and I'm trying to get housing. I have a dentist appointment coming up soon, and I'm always on the go. I'm always making sure things are done. But as of recently, you know, living in my backpack, carrying around all my belongings, and recently I lost my keychain, my oval keyhole, my oval key loop. You know, I lost all my keys, and so now I have to pay for a brand new lock at my storage unit for $20. Somehow they don't have spare keys. It's a storage unit place, and they give you 2 keys, but they don't have any spare keys. Come on now. Oh, we're gonna force people to buy a brand new lock. Is that not pollution? Is that not unnecessary pollution that we could prevent? Like, we're just gonna, and you know, because we're gonna have to create more padlocks. We're gonna have to break my padlock and create more padlocks, create more keys. That's unnecessary pollution. So I don't know. So I've been losing some keys to my bike lock, to my storage unit, and I lost one of my spare keys to my e-bike. You can see there's a little key ignition or whatever thing there. So that basically unlocks the battery, so I can take the battery out, and then I can take it in, like, the library or whatever, and charge up the e-bike battery inside the library without having to bring the e-bike into the library. But with Bates College being so open and not closing off the local community, you know, thankfully, I'm able to come here, charge up my stuff, And of course, I'm going to put this extension cable back down where it was. I'm not going to be rude. I'm not going to be disruptive and you know, uncivil. So, you know, I really could have taken over the internet with my Cyclops cult on Grand Theft Auto 5 Online. Wow, that's a big spider. But instead, I was forced to be unhoused last year, April 25, 2024. And why are you coming towards my stuff, man? Turn around. Thank you. So, you know, I don't know. I lost my point again, but that's about it. That's about all I got to say. You know, I'm the best on the internet. I'm the best pioneer of the World Wide Web, aka the internet, and I stand on that. And I will keep on going. I will upkeep my craft. I will remain this. I will remain just as consistent as I was the past 7-8 years. In fact, more consistent, as I said earlier. 10,000 uploads every 5 years. I will reach about 130,000 uploads in my lifetime. So, I mean, I'm not feeling helpless. I'm not feeling like I need to give up. I'm not feeling like, you know, I hate to say it, but suicidal. I'm not suicidal. You know, my devotion and confidence, my devotion to my craft and the confidence that I've built and all that I've learned this past 8 years and just throughout my whole lifetime is unmatchable. It's unstoppable. I have more confidence than the whole world. And I don't say that in a way of being superior to anybody or anything, but I know how unique I am. I know how consistent I am. And you're supposed to be confident. And that's just what it is. I am the king of the internet. I am the king of New England. And if you disagree, well, let's have a debate then. I'm always posting my location. If anybody wants to have a debate, specifically pastors and priests, let's have a debate about religion and God. I'm not trying to generalize, and I know that there's many good aspects of religion. There's many good things that come of religion, but there's a lot of blood on religion's hands. People were outcasted and murdered, jailed, burned, killed publicly at town squares or whatever, for witchcraft, being falsely accused of witchcraft. And a lot of war has happened because of religion. So let's be real. The umbrella above religion is God. God is non-existent, and that's misinformation. So you can believe what you want, but factually and logically, since 2019, I've proven that God is non-existent, and I continue to build up further evidence to prove so. So let's have a debate. I'm sad that the Pope died, because I would have debated with him. But any local priest or pastor in New England, if you would like to have a debate about whether or not God exists, let's do it, because I won't lose. So yeah, with that said, much love. Peace.